Welcome to the December 10th, 2014 Planning Board meeting in the town of Raymond. The board will come to order. The board does have a quorum. Roll call.
Steve Lang.
Greg Foster. Rob O'Neill.
Bruce Sanford. Benjamin Crowder.
And with us this evening is Jim Seymour as our town planner, and Chris Hansen is our code enforcement, and Danielle will be taking our minutes. This is a public proceeding, and unless the board specifically votes to go into executive session, you have the right to hear everything that is being said and to look at all the exhibits that are presented. Please notify the chairman if you are unable to hear or to see. The board works from a published agenda, and we'll be considering tonight's items in the following order. We've got some minutes from the November 12th meeting, and then a public hearing for an application, followed by some ordinance workshop and some communications, planner communications. In each instance, the burden is upon the applicant to demonstrate compliance with the provisions of the applicable ordinances. After the board votes on the merits of each project application, it will prepare a written notice of decision. Because the notice of decision may substantially affect any appeal rights, and also as a matter of courtesy, the board asks that those attending the meeting with regard to a specific project not leave until the board has completed its discussion on the project. Generally speaking, appeals from adverse decisions must be filed with the appropriate appeals board of Superior Court or otherwise provided by law within 30 days of this board's decision. Also, to be certain that you preserve your individual rights to file any such appeal, you must be certain that this board records evidence of your appearance this evening in opposition and the basis of your opposition. All persons speaking, including representatives of the applicant and members of the public, are asked to stand, state their names from the podium, give their address and the affiliation with the project. You must sign the sign-in sheet if you are speaking for or against a project. All persons speaking shall address the chairman. There we go. So we'll start with the minutes from the November 12th.
I will move the minutes. Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carries. All right, next up is our public hearing for the Jason Farling. We'll start with Jim, if you give us an overview of the project. And then, I'm assuming you're Jason?
Yes, I am.
And then we'll go to you, and then we'll open it up to the public. We take phone-ins also, so we... No, I'm only kidding. Go ahead, Jim.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just want to point out that this project was previously approved in 2004 for the private way. What we have here is a private road which the applicant, Erloff and Donna Madsen, wish to extend such that they can do a lot division and create an additional lot. To do such, they need to extend the right-of-way in the road approximately 76, 77 feet. The applicant has prepared a minor site plan application. The lot that they are splitting is approximately 8.64 acres, located in the R zone. And if you look on the plan that you have, you'll see that they've included on the lot that they are creating a basic home layout. Because this is a private road extension, we do get into a little bit of the, it's not a subdivision review, but we need to look at the lot being accessed from the private way. So therefore we asked that we look at the septic system, we looked at the stormwater for both the lane and the lot. And the applicant did provide us with a stormwater management plan, which was consistent with our credit point system and met the standards for that. I did include a memo, I think it was dated December 3rd. Tonight I gave you an updated as the applicant has presented us with revised plans. I believe that he has addressed all of my comments with exception of one, and that is they are requesting a waiver. This development or private road had a hammerhead terminus. Due to the extension of the road 75 feet, thereabouts, that hammerhead would be non-conformance with our current road standards, as it would be too far from the terminus. But we recommend they get a waiver. I have talked to David Maines, and he is satisfied that that'll be fine for emergency access. So my recommendation is to grant the waiver, but obviously you'll have a discussion on that. The waiver needs to be put on the final plan. And then I had one condition, which is often a common condition on these private roads or back lots, which is that prior to any occupancy, we'll need to have proof that the road maintenance agreement has been signed or notarized by the development, such that they're part of the road association, and maintenance will be upheld by either them or an association. So I would let the applicant speak. To date, we have not received any public comments, but clearly they can speak for themselves.
All right, board have any questions for Jamie? All right, Jason.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thanks for hearing me this evening. My name is Jason Farthing. I'm with Survey Inc. out of Wyndham, Maine. Jim pretty much covers it here, but Herluf and Donna Madsen contacted me some time ago with the hopes of dividing their 8.73 acre parcel of land that's at the terminus of Autumn Lane, a private road that's half mile or so up Gore Road off of 85 here on the left. They're right at the terminus, the T turnaround there, and in looking at the current zoning, they were roughly 80 feet short of being able to divide it. They've owned the lot outright for some number of years now, so therefore it's not a formal subdivision per se, but it was just lacking that road frontage to be able to divide the piece. We've worked closely with excellent guidance from Mr. Hanson and Mr. Seymour there to prepare a site plan addressing all of the issues. It went through a memo process there. Jim was kind enough to send us along his comments after the first initial submission that you received, and there are some changes on the plan that we should point out. Good. So this is just its orientation here off of 85 up Gore Road. Parcel is proposed to be divided as shown on the boundary survey, sheet 1 of 3 that you received. This is basically unchanged other than the fact that we've added the building setback requirements to the plan. The waiver request is to avoid having to have two T turnarounds there within about 100 and 120 feet of one another. We've decided to address that issue by widening the radiuses and lengthening that existing turnaround there. We're all in agreement that the benefit there would be to be able to get a UPS truck or an occasional moving vehicle, plow apparatus in and out of there easily, so they can pull in and back into that without issue. Our original stormwater plan here also had, you'll notice on the original plan there, had a buffer along the southerly side of the lot here. Jim asked us to regrade that and just put the water down in this substantial buffer down here. Again, we used the point system there to diffuse the stormwater runoff. The roadway itself was a woods road that was already roughed in, so in order to do as little environmental impact as possible, we've utilized the existing center line of that woods road, and we just plan to widen that to bring it up to town specifications as far as depths of material and width of the roadway. And you'll notice on the revised plan that we show the widening of the radiuses and the lengthening of the paved apron here for the turnaround. The other item of interest there was the road maintenance agreement. The Herlufs own, the Madsens own the road in fee. So there is a road maintenance agreement that's been prepared, but it has not been recorded at the Registry of Deeds to date. So it's all set to go, and like Jim said, prior to any issuance of any occupancy permits, we'll go ahead and get that recorded and get the people along that road involved in that road maintenance agreement. Okay. That's about it, if I can answer any questions.
Okay, well, I think just as a formality, we'll open it for the public hearing. Use the gavel, and we'll close the public hearing, and then we'll start.
I have a question. Lot B is partially developed, that building is existing, and you're just regrading and adding a septic system, is that correct?
There was a building permit issued already for the existing lot, and this house is probably 70% done or so, I would say. And we did the regrading and the stormwater abatement work here in order to get the road lengthened.
Okay, I was just confused because I thought the lot was undeveloped and you were creating the lot to build a new home, and it said existing building, so I was unclear as to whether there was something there now and
Originally, when they approached me, it was an undeveloped parcel of land, and they wanted to get going on building, so they without the lengthening of the road, they were able to get a building permit on the entire parcel. I mean, it was a buildable lot to begin with. It had adequate road frontage by itself. In order for them to get the division of the 8.73 acres, they're gonna need that a little additional road
okay,
frontage.
Fine. Thank you.
So I read that right, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark that down.
Gold star.
Any other?
Of course.
Go.
For Lot A, where do you perceive seeing the driveway for any developed house? Is it gonna come off the hammerhead?
We would propose it to be right off the terminus of that hammerhead there.
It has enough room to come off prior to the hammerhead separately.
I'm just wondering if it's truly there for emergency vehicles turning around.
We would specify in that there would be no parking allowed or anything to block that right-of-way area there. We would have to come off either the side or the very terminus of that with the driveway, and certainly specify that there's no parking or anything to block that right-of-way.
The other thing is you could have it so that that is doubly wide there, and that could be isolated from the turnaround too, so it kind of would be a wide throat coming into a very narrow driveway, so there's adequate room. It's one way to do it. We see houses that it's not an ideal situation because of it's a private road in this case, so the snow plowing is their duty. The biggest issue is usually when you plow the snow, somebody's gonna get a load dumped in the middle of the driveway. So that's usually the biggest hurdle with that, is winter maintenance.
The lay of the land here, though, is such that you could have this driveway come off of any portion of that turnaround and get out of harm's way, so to speak. It's not steep in any.
Well, I guess what I was looking at is the circle that you got on here I'm assuming that's where you would be looking to build.
That is a requirement to prove that the lot width is there for the town.
I'd just be worried if they built close enough, would they even need a driveway? Would they start using that
Well, like I said,
turnaround as their driveway?
Yeah, you've got probably 60 scale. You probably have got 60 feet of road frontage to we're looking at this plan, to the left of that hammerhead that they could come off with the driveway.
But that would probably be Chris's issue when they come up for a permit. Someone can come up for a building permit.
Yeah.
All right.
They'd have to get an entrance permit, so we'd review that with Public Works, and if there was an issue with the turnaround itself, that would be discussed at that time, and we wouldn't issue it unless it was appropriate.
So there are occasions where we meet road frontage with just right-of-ways, and we're not doing that in this case, because we're using that as the hammerhead.
That's part of their road frontage.
Part of the road frontage.
It's part of their road frontage?
Yes.
Okay. But I guess what I'm saying is we sometimes.
Sometimes the turnaround is an easement.
Right.
In this case, it's part of the right-of-way.
Okay.
And that's the difference. Some of them are in the right-of-way, some of them are easements, and then we have the capability of doing both.
Right.
We typically see the right-of-way when we do a backlot driveway. That can be an
Yes.
easement.
Yep. Okay. Are there other questions? Jim, do you recommend we go through this whole article?
Well, you can go through, I did, as I told you, I did a findings of fact draft for you this evening. I mean, you can zip through that, see if you agree. As I mentioned, the only condition that I had was for the maintenance agreement, and I've got in there that you
And the waiver.
the waiver. You have to vote on the waiver separately, and then you can go through and just either reference this and then date it tonight, or however you want to handle it. If you want to wait till the Mylar actually comes back, it's up to you.
Okay.
I mean, you could read it in, and you don't have to sign it until you actually see the Mylar if you want to do it that
Right.
way.
All right, let's handle the waiver first, which is, if you're on Jim's memo, that would be the first item on page 2. And we have no issues at all with the lot, is that correct, Jim?
Correct.
Okay. So is there anyone, we need to talk about it? Everyone comfortable with it?
I'm fine.
Yeah. Someone want to start us off? So I guess what we're looking for is a waiver to 150-foot waiver for the hammerhead. Is that basically it, Jim?
Yeah.
Is that a motion? Yeah, that'll, okay. We'll turn that into a motion in a second. Is there any discussion? Everybody, all those in favor? No one is opposed. Okay, so waiver is approved. Let's run through number 2, the addition of the road extension. We'll need to confirm the address.
All that's
One. No, that's nothing, right?
Everything else has been addressed in this
Oh,
memo.
I'm sorry.
So if you go to the actual findings of fact that I prepared, it has the site plan standards.
Oh, you've done, perfect. Thank you, Jim. It's on the wrong memo.
And either you can take, with this
We're
one,
not, yeah,
you can either take it as just one.
we're gonna
whole
take it
thing.
as one.
Yeah.
Let's just go through for discussion. So just so we all know we're on the same page here. I'm on page 2 of Jim's memo that starts out with the procedural history. And on page 2, the conclusion of Laura site plan review standard, section A will be the first item is the preservation of landscape. Second item would be the relation of proposed buildings to the environment. Third item is vehicular access. And we don't need anything in here, Chris, to make sure that you're okay with,
No, we're okay.
okay. Parking and item 4, parking and circulation. I think that's pretty standard surface. Water drainage, Jimmy, you said I didn't see the phosphorus calculations
They're actually on the sheet. You can
on the
point
sheet.
On page
Wonder why.
sheet 2 of 3. Yes, they are. Up in the right corner.
Yes,
It's the point system. Yes.
The points calculation.
They're in excess of the points required. That's what I reference as Article 9, Section U, lots 5B1. And that will be placed, we've kind of, I think we did this with Ross, was the first time we entered these buffers, but we pretty much have adopted that limited forested buffer for the sake of these stormwater buffers, so that they can go in and, as long as they don't disturb the root mass, they can selectively cut here and there. But it's all defined by the main DP.
Okay. Item 6, utilities. Item 7, special features.
Yeah, Yeah, the only thing I added there was just that road, the turnaround
Turnarounds.
radiuses, they've complied.
Okay. Exterior lighting, no lighting's proposed. Emergency vehicular access, we've kind of taken care of that. Landscaping, not really applicable. Other considerations from Article 9 standards.
We need to move to accept all.
I think we're just gonna move to accept the application. I think it's,
Okay.
which will be all encompassing.
Conditions of approval.
Jim's even given us the verbiage there.
So I move that we approve the minor site plan with the requested waiver for our terminus turnaround with the conditions of approval as noted.
Second.
Sounds good. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? It's done. You're done.
One quick question.
Oh, sorry.
Jim, which plan do you want to have recorded at the registry? Just sheet 2 of 3?
You've got I would guess since the right-of-way plan itself is on the first sheet, that has the boundary information, it'll have the board signature, maybe sheet 1. The waiver, just put the waiver on both sheets, please.
Waiver on both?
Yep.
And you'll just keep those with the waiver in-house?
Because, I mean, there's a note on the plan that says it's a plan set.
It shouldn't show the buffer.
And shouldn't it show the point system?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think,
You could record both if you wanted to.
yeah, I would think so.
Okay. Record both.
Does that boundary sheet show the entire length of right-of-way?
No.
I'd like to, for one minor change there, just so everybody has the entire length of that, so I can refer to that recorded plan in the road maintenance agreement. I'd like to just add the rest of the meets and bounds to the full length of the right-of-way to Autumn Lane there.
That's
Okay.
fine.
That makes sense.
Because you're not gonna sign it till you have a Mylar anyway.
Right,
Yeah.
that's fine.
And that's sheet 1 is all you're gonna have signed, that's the only one I need to
That'll
have
be
signed by the
and
planning
both
board.
will be recorded.
By the planning board.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, sheet 1 will sign, sheets 1 and 2 will be recorded. Is that
Right.
what we're?
Right.
You're gonna sign sheet 2 as well, or just sheet 1 and combine and record them as a package?
Right, well, correct.
Okay.
We'll sign sheet 1, record both as a package.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep, we don't need the detail recorded.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
And conditions of approval on both sheets.
Yep.
Okay.
The other thing I would mention is Madison probably should get that road maintenance agreement recorded
Yep.
prior to the C of O on the houses being built. Would
Okay.
be my preference.
That's exactly what I wrote on my notes here. Yep, must be recorded prior to occupancy. Yep. Great.
All right.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a happy holiday.
Thank you.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Thanks for making it easy.
I tell you, it's those guys right there that make it easy to work for me.
All right, so next up is our ordinance workshop. Stephanie couldn't join us. She would rather go to the kids' concert. Can you believe that?
Yes.
They go to the planning board? Yeah. Our kids. All right, so we have, we've got 4 proposed articles to look at. We'll take them one at a time. We're gonna send these, from here they're going to go to returning for review. Then we'll get them back, we'll do the public hearing, and we'll send them to the selectmen, either changed or approved. So this is kinda like, this is our, should be almost our final cut. We don't, because we are kind of out of time. And And then while we're going through this, we need to kind of think about when we're gonna hold this public hearing. Our next we would need to do it in January. Our next meeting may get busy with the Fry Island and then with the MGM application. So we may want to, but I'm not anticipating that this is going to draw much attention from the community. So we can tack it on and just knock it out that night, because then it's just really going to be.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. All right, so we'll start with the Article 10, the site plan review for the land Raymond use ordinance. Jim, do you want to?
Just go through the
Yeah.
different pieces.
Let's just go through the pieces and make sure we're.
Well, again, just to give you background, the reason that we put this in there is we get a lot of plans now that come back, you know, with amendments or revisions, and how do we be consistent? Because all we have is really an application for new projects. So to alleviate that, we've come up with site plan amendments and revisions. The 4 classifications would be de minimis revisions, staff review revisions, minor site plan revisions, and major site plan amendments. De minimis revisions would be essentially handled by Chris. Those are the real small construction issues that pop up on the site that are, you know, essentially meaningless, other than they're just a slight change to the plan. There's no substantial impact to anything. Staff review revisions would be more significant, would be kind of like the one we had with David Greep, where there was a rotation of a parking space or something like that. It's a substantial change, but in the end, you know, it has no real impact to the environment or to the safety or traffic impacts. That would be handled by staff review, which would essentially be Chris and myself. And of course, with that, if we can't resolve it, we always have the authority to bump it up to planning board. Minor site plan revisions would be those that would be accumulated over a 5-year period, such as new additions, you know, buildings, site surface changes that are at or below what are the thresholds for a minor site plan right now under our ordinance, and those would come to you at the planning board. And then major site plans are just that, those that would they're an addition to a building or a parking lot, such that on their own they would trigger normally a full site plan review. They have to meet all the major site plan review standards, and then any plan that hasn't been amended for 5 years would be treated the same way. Just because after 5 years we start losing, you know, our ability to recall what the original approval was. So that's essentially how we broke down the various. And then of course the fees would be determined by council, town, selectmen, sorry, council.
Ooh, I got one question. And on number on B, you say that there's no butter notices are required, but on C and D, we don't specifically call out if.
Because they fall under the plan reviews, that's already built into.
Okay, so it does fall, okay.
That mechanism's already built in.
So we're not kind of setting this aside, or?
No, that mechanism's already there under our normal site plan review. Because once they come to the planning board, there has to be public notice.
We okay?
Absolutely.
All right. We probably should take them one at a time. Yeah.
And I'd move that we would accept the changes as written and send them to the town council for review.
Second.
Any other discussion? All
Well,
in
does
favor?
this-
Oh, sorry.
Actually, isn't we voting to send this to public hearing? Or
Town
we vote-
council and public hearing, and then we. Legal
Oh,
review.
okay.
Then it's gonna come back for public hearing, and
Okay,
then
so-
we're gonna go to.
All right.
It's a yo-yo.
We have selectmen on council, is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, I saw we were doing public hearing.
Oh.
Okay, all those in favor? All right, that one's done.
Second that?
Bruce. All right, next one is the Town of Raymond Street Ordinance.
The agreement
Plan,
Oh,
4.2
the
plans.
notarized.
Landowner's agreement. That one's pretty good.
We've already
Yeah,
actually
straightforward.
we've already implemented, but now it's just formally in our ordinance.
Okay, so I think I think we're good to go on this one. Does there anyone have any discussion?
Straightforward. No.
All right,
Again, I'd move to accept this as written and send it to town council for further review.
Second.
all, discussion? All those in favor? Done. Next is our shoreline zoning provisions, table of use. Oh, actually, this one might. Oh, so Jim, tell us one more time what we're doing again when we change parking facilities to parking areas.
It matches our uses that we just did.
Okay,
Currently, we call it parking areas, and in the land use, it's parking facilities. So it's just, again, to streamline the use and the table. And that's the same with the municipal. Again, there's no definition for municipal, but we have a definition for public facilities.
okay. So we're adding boat launches, we're changing the facilities, we're really making no substantive changes to this.
Shouldn't, just for the issue of clarity, we should have whatever the designation is under the resource protection shoreland zone on LRR1 and LRR2, shouldn't those be noted in those columns instead of those columns left blank, just for their issue of clarity?
Yep.
Under the ones for piers, docks, wharfs, bridges.
No, I think you're saying these should be in here, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in other words, to the right of paragraph 17, the boxes under RP, SP, and LRR1, LRR2 are blank. And I'm just suggesting for the issue of clarity, we should have the correct designation in those boxes.
It just falls down.
Yeah, 'cause
No, but he was saying,
You saying put it in here?
yeah, but what's the permitting for piers, docks, wharfs? Is that C?
Said it, for temporary, it's CEO.
Yeah.
It's
For
just the way it
permanent,
printed
it's
out.
planning board.
See, you got 17.
Oh, I'm
A
sorry,
and
A and B
17.
relate
Yeah,
back up
that's
to
why it's not
17,
filled in.
okay,
16
my
and 16,
mistake,
yeah,
okay.
I see that. I didn't get that either.
Subcategorized it, temporary and permanent.
Okay,
It's just the way it printed out. I think in the table it actually, it's a little bit staggered or a little
Like
bit indented.
indented?
Yeah,
I plead confusion.
we plead with you.
I checked, like, because I got stumped by the same thing too, so don't feel
I
bad.
think we got it.
Okay.
Yeah, it does the same thing with definitions. And then accessory apartment was the one that you spent quite a bit of time
Yep.
wordsmithing.
All the definitions?
Yes.
New definition of accessory apartment, yeah.
It'll go into,
And agriculture, right?
and that's under a different, that's in the land use. The next one. Article 9.
Yeah, Article 12, I mean.
Right now we're doing,
Article 9.
right. Oh, so this
Actually,
is-
they're still on the table. You haven't voted on the table yet, right?
Right.
Yeah, we're still on the table. Are we okay with the table?
I think so.
Table. For land use table? Okay. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve it as written and send it to legal counsel for further review.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? All right, now the last one, Article 9 minimum standards.
Chris, wasn't there a discussion about the percentage of land coverage? It was
Yeah,
supposed to be
we changed it from 30 to 15 to match up with shoreline zoning.
That was
Yes, it's true.
higher than that.
No.
It was in the old definition.
It was in the old definition, it was 30%, but we have a, in the.
Okay.
Remember, we,
Yep, all right.
it said in all districts you couldn't cover more than
Right,
15%, so
right.
it didn't make any sense. So we corrected that.
Steve, you had one other comment about this, didn't you, when we were going through this? I'm trying
Had to do
to
with
think
this, they corrected it, it had to do with the confusion about the bedrooms and the septic systems.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's right.
right.
And that's been
Yeah,
corrected.
Okay.
Change that to match state law.
Yeah, they've clarified that, because now they've got the language that the system is already designed for if it's more than one. So I think that seems to be adequate.
I'm very pleased with that.
Steve, you see on the back page where it has the definition of accessory apartments, where it struck out that 30%?
Yeah, I'm just wondering why we've got it, the definition in section 17 and in, are we defining it twice?
Yes, so it matches up in the regular land use ordinance for the shoreline zoning.
Two
So we're-
different areas.
It's in the ordinance twice, so it's just to make sure it's consistent in both
Okay.
sections. The regular land use and the shoreline zoning.
It only appeared originally in the land use ordinance.
So you tightened it up in the shoreline zone, so we had to tighten it up in the land use.
Are we adding that agriculture section, or are we,
That is being added. It was in the shoreline zoning, but not in the land use.
same
Same
verbiage?
Same
verbiage.
verbiage.
We okay with this one?
I am.
Bruce, you all right? Yeah? Ah, all right. Ben, you wanna do it one more time for us?
Sure. I move to accept as written and send to legal counsel for further review.
Second?
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Passes. All right, that takes care of the warrants. So before we leave it, we okay with going, as far as Danielle goes, we're just gonna schedule this for our next regular meeting. And maybe we'll reserve the option of a 6:30 start if it looks like it's going to get really tight. Does that sound okay with everybody?
Absolutely.
Steve, you're all right with that?
That'd be the public hearing on these.
Yeah.
Probably have enough people here anyway about the other two.
I don't think there'd be anybody here. I mean, I wouldn't anticipate that we're really changing anything that's going to be of concern. All right, so we'll keep the option for 6:30 start if we need it, and we'll schedule it all for next.
Would we at that point be then voting to move it on to town meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
So while we move it to the
To the
select.
Select boards,
Right,
okay.
and they take care of it. All right, done. Planner communications, presentation of staff review approvals.
Yes, we've got, I think you've got one in your packet for Fry Road. It was for a back lot. Chris and I reviewed that and issued that 12/4 last week. It was a fairly straightforward application. We had a couple minor conditions on there, and it's all set. I don't know if you need any further, if you want further information, just let me know. It's pretty well self-evident in the.
Yep,
findings
they're
of
right
the-
up. I think this is great.
Again, it's just, this whole process is just to keep you cued in on what we're approving, so something out there in the public, you're aware of it, as well as firsthand knowledge as far as development in town.
Right, no, I think it's great. I think it moves the projects along faster and keeps the kind of the admin stuff coming to us.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
I
And
think
it
it's great.
keeps the cost down for the applicant. And time. Time is, critical in some of these.
Mhm. Yeah, and for just,
If we can get it done in less time for them, it makes the project go much smoother.
yep, and we get these, so we kind of still have
One quick
As far as
question.
the
This won't actually appear in our minutes. Does it appear on the website? if someone from the public wanted to know and wanted to read this,
They come into the office just like they would
They
with
come in
any
the
other
office,
one.
it's in the file.
okay, so, but it's not, right, but it's not on the
No,
website or someplace else easy, okay.
no, it's just a public document on our files. And with regard, oops, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with regards to the findings of fact you have tonight, if there's any wordsmithing or anything like that, let us know, because we'll prepare that to be final when we come back next month to have that plan signed.
Okay. Just to back, but the minutes will reflect the presentation, the reference.
Right,
Yeah,
but
so
not,
they-
but not the whole write-up.
But not the whole
Right,
write-up, right.
So if
I
someone
mean, that's all we're
looking
supposed to
for
do,
it,
is
they
just
can
general
find it.
correspondence with you, just again, keep you informed.
Right?
Yep.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Done.
Sign.